Hey there, Alan Matthews here from Classical Guitar Shed, and in this video we're going to talk about internal timing, how you can get better sense of rhythm and better timing using your practice, using your scale practice or other technique practice, so that when you're playing music that you can actually keep the good time going. You don't speed up or slow down without knowing it. You can keep that nice steady beat and just be more musical. So in this video we're going to talk about how to practice so that you can develop this skill. Right, so scales are good for a lot of things. They synchronize our hands, they allow us to connect notes really well, all different kind of things, but they can also, we can use our scale practice to practice our timing. So to begin with, we just have an A major scale here. This is a 1-octave scale. And I've doubled the top note so that it comes out in nice, even 8-note things, 8 up and 8 down. So this may or may not be a scale that you know. It's a simple 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4 as far as the fingerings go, but it doesn't matter. You can use a single note. You can use anything you want to do this exercise. So once you know the notes, you don't have to look at the music or anything to know these notes. You've got a particular pattern. It could also just be 1, 2, 3, 4s. Anything you do, then what you can do is, first off, you can play with the metronome to where it clicks on every single beat. So here we have 120 with it clicking on every single note. And so then first off, be able to play with this. Very clean and in time. No mushy, listening to every single beat. And so every single beat, that's the first way to do it. So if you can't do that, then you're not going to be able to do other things. So get that very first. Next, we can go to where you have one click for every 2 beats. Now we're still at the same exact speed. We're still at 120 per the quarter note, but now we're clicking at 60. Or you can just change the accent to where you're only doing a beat every 2 beats, so that the beat is 2. And so here we go. So now there's 1 beat for every 2. And so you can also just split it in half. So now that's at 60. The next step would be to go to every 4. You could also do every 3 if you wanted to make it into a triple meter. For this exercise, we're just doing it now. We have it every 4 beats. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And listen for the connection. You can also accent it if you would like to. You can also just clap these so that you're just counting and clapping. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 1. So that you're clapping along and just landing it right with the beat. And notice if it's slightly before or slightly after, and then you can adjust for that the next time. But the main thing is that you listen to the metronome always, because whenever we're listening to the metronome, playing with the metronome, listening to the metronome is the main job. So then the last one we have is every 8 notes we have a click. And so then to do this, you could bring your metronome to 60 and then have it accent every 4 and then take out the quarter note. Does that make any sense? So then you make it to where you're only getting the accent. So on your metronome, you set it to where, what is the accents? It's accenting every 4 beats. It's accenting in the first note in 4/4. But then you tell it to not play the other notes. So you can look at your metronome, whatever kind of metronome you have. So before you start, you'll have to count this in, because otherwise you're just jumping into the middle of the air. So if you have it, you might have lights blinking on your metronome. So 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and... So you're wanting that note on the downbeat to line up with the click. And so the longer that you can prolong this, and you can make it to where there's further and further between the clicks on the metronome, you can practice being right in time so that you land, boom, right in time. And this is going to be really useful. Also, when you go to slow down and speed up, rubato is the musical term for this, where you slow down at the end of a section or something like that. Ideally, when we do that, then we can do that in time. And so then we can practice with the metronome to do that, but we first have to be able to do this. And we'll talk about that in a different video. But we first have to be able to play with the metronome so that we know the big beat, and we can subdivide all those smaller beats into there. We can play all of the small beats even if we only have a beat every 4 or every 8 or every 2. So that's a way to practice using your metronome to increase your internal sense of time. Have fun with it, a little bit a day, and it will do wonders. And it's yet another thing you can do with your scales if you like. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't, and I look forward to seeing you soon.